day 6 of this epic pilgrimage in India. Namaste, you're here with Sai. And I feel like I said this yesterday, but a lot happens in a very short space of time. Today I'd really love to share with you, particularly around following your gut feeling, intuition, and from the right place, from the right energetic state, and playing our role. What does that mean? I'd like to share with you a beautiful experience that I had just recently. But before I do so, just enjoying being by the river. It's been a break in the rain, drying things out, including myself. And since yesterday, which was raining again, so I think it's 3 days now. It continued in the afternoon of walking, temple hopping, roof hopping, and eventually came to the Dev Prayag. It's famous for being the start of the Ganga, Ma Ganga, and where there's two rivers, Alaknanda, and the other river I can't remember, Bhagada. This is the Alaknanda, we're further upstream at the moment, but they meet there, and that's where it becomes the Ganga. And so, like a really sacred, auspicious place. There's a cave, a temple right on the junction. There are blessings going on, and people taking the sacred water and dipping, and it's an experience in the raging waters there. And so I arrived to this town, and it's where pilgrims are coming from the main road, from the other side of the river, and which I haven't experienced yet. So I met my first pilgrims, which was pretty cool, and we stayed. There's a temple. There's a Rama temple, very old. I believe it must be from the 800s, from a time when Arya Shankara was bringing the teachings and reviving the teachings of yoga, and coming from the high Himalayas. So it was built around that time, and a very special place. And there, someone was saying, you go there, you can stay there. I was going to stay just there was some shelter at the junction. Kind of like almost a cave. And they're like, no, go to the temple there, and they'll give you chapati and food. And so I went up, and they had the evening ceremony, the arti, and celebration, and giving thanks into the elements, and it was beautiful. They said, you can sleep here, and there was a few other. I was sleeping next to 3 older men, and I guess they're like in their 70s, and one man had been 26 times to Badrinath on pilgrimage on foot. So it was pretty inspiring. These guys are just carrying a blanket and some couple of personal belongings and a jumper, and not much more, flip-flops. So I felt right at home. And beautiful men, like really distinguished men. And a couple of them spoke a little bit of English. So it was beautiful. It was nice to feel together in a journey. And they bought us meals. Someone's cooking there every day, and they bought us meals and chai, and it was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. There was a guy there who this is off the topic of following intuition. I'll get to it, but it's just an interesting moment that came that I remember now. And there was a guy there who, when I first entered, he was quite distant and had a really strong look and was very like dismissive, and I kind of felt like rejected. It's a bit of a strong term, but so I could see it wasn't personal, it's just how it was, but I felt distant. Didn't feel like being close to him, but how I observed like my mind, how it was like, you know, projecting or being wary of him and not wanting to go close or to try and engage. And yeah, late in the night, he was yelling at someone, and he was and the other guy next to one of these older men, he was like always praying, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. And so he'd be yelling at someone, and this guy would say, Jai Shri Ram. there's really, like giving God's blessing, and, there's peace, and yeah. But this man who I, was judging, he came over to me, and I didn't really speak any English with his big eyes, his really dark eyes. He said, don't. He was like signaling about this guy, and he's like, he's a thief, like be careful. So everything was fine, yeah, but it was his goodwill. He was looking out for me. He could see it, and so it was just a really small but interesting moment of catching myself and just saying, not to take something personally, and not to just not to create an idea of someone or something that isn't true, and how easy it is to do that. Just because he's not interacting with me the way I would like, or that makes me feel comfortable. It doesn't really mean anything, actually. Actually, it was the fun. It was all good, slept very well next to my new journeyman, and woke up at 5 o'clock to this blaring music from the temple, mantras and prayers, and it was still dark, obviously, and then the older men next to me were up and going down to the Ganga for a dip, so I went down and had a dip in the morning, and then I went off. But what I was really wanting to share is that I felt a compulsion or a calling to take this alternative route. Yeah, I was going on it was not on the main road, it was on the other side, and I'd felt it for a while. I'd been in a day or two before, when I'd seen it, trying to see how I could sort of stay off the main road and continue the journey along the river. And I'd been asking people on the way. And one thing I've also learned over years of traveling and experiences into the unknown is that information becomes more relevant the closer you get to the place where you're going. So I could ask someone 2 days before, and I know that what they may share, they may not know so well. And so it's I listen, but I also hold it in that space of okay, it might be not 100% accurate. And everyone had said, no, you can't go that way. And I looked on the map, I looked on the satellite. Yeah, it's forest, but it looks like maybe it's possible. And yeah, and I got closer, got to this town. I said, no, not possible. Stay on the main road. Stay on the main road. But I felt this calling, and I wanted to check it, and it felt right. And this is what I was referring to at the start, like following our guts, following our intuition, and also from the right state, that we're in the right state to hear something, yeah. And what I mean is energetic state, good place. And so I went out that way, and I knew that going this way is an extra, I don't know, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, so probably an hour and a half, if it wasn't going to work out, and an hour and a half back. So it was potentially an extra 3 hours on my journey, and given all the information I've been given, it was not going to work. And as I was getting close, I was going past the temple there. There was a Baba, a holy man, and he called out and said, come and drink a chai. And I was like, okay, great. I sat down for a chai, and he was like, stay here, rest, stay here 1-2 days, which I wasn't going to do, and I really wasn't feeling it there. And so I had the chai, thank you, and continued. And I asked him, what about this way? And he said, no, it's not possible. There's landslide, and the track is not possible. And I thought, oh, okay, that's kind of relevant information, yeah. But there was this place, Mandala. There was this place that I'd seen a sign the day before on entering it, and it spoke to me. There was something about it. I was like, okay, what is this place, Mandala? And anyway, it was in my field, and then I'd seen on the map, there's this Mandala retreat center there at the end of the road. And so I said to the Baba, thank you, I'm going to go and look anyway, and I'll see. And this Mandala place, I could see that it was, upon walking and arriving there, that it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. I thought I'm going to go and ask them for directions. Walking in, I felt like a bit of a vagabond walking in, like in my sandals, in the same clothes, and with my things on my back, everything I had on my back, which I'm very comfortable with. But I felt like I'm walking into a 5-star setting that was immaculate. It had such a beautiful feeling, like an incredible feeling, a beautiful energy. It's very, just the way it was on the eye and it was designed and felt energetically was, from just walking in the door into the yard, was amazing. So I went to ask them for some directions, and there was a guy working there, spoke a little bit of English, and then the owners of the place came out, two women, partners, that's the word I'm looking for. And they were lovely, and they were very helpful, trying to ask me directions. Kind of, so what are you doing? Where, like, I guess it's the last thing you probably expect there, because it's not a trail that people are walking past or on. And they were very helpful. And firstly, there was a guy who was working there, who they asked about the trail that I was wanting to travel on, who happened to live down that trail, like, so in a very small, not even a village, a couple of houses, like some kilometers down that way. So he was probably one of the few people that knew about it. He said, yes, it's possible. And he told me the directions, he told me contact if I needed anything. And it was amazing. I mean, I also felt like of all the people that I could have maybe connected with, and I've had probably 10, 15 people saying not possible, I come to the right place and to the right person. So that's great. And these lovely women, they asked me if I had time for a chai. Yeah, I've only got time. And yeah, so we sat down in the incredible creation, their home in this guest house, this retreat center. They told me some of their story. It was amazing and beautiful, and how they'd met and created this place and just where they were at. And actually it turned into a really beautiful, beautiful sharing. And I share that now because a couple of things were happening. One is that, so in that moment when I arrived, and they came out with the dogs. It looks like they were going for a walk, and they obviously could have easily not have been there. But they said that morning, just before, they'd been having this brainstorming about what they're doing with their place, with their life, with their decisions, what they wanted to create, how it's going to work, or what they feel they should do. And they'd asked me a bit about my story and things on the Camino, and how I ended up there. And I told them about the vision I'd had when I first walked 10 years ago, and how that stuck, and I had to return and to check it, and it's something I've spoken about in other things, first episode of the podcast and things like that. So I won't go into too much detail about it, but essentially I had a vision, something that had a deep experience, and I could see something, and there was a vision, and it stayed with me, and it stayed with me for a couple of years while I was, traveling on this motorbike, a few different continents, and I knew that while I was on that travel that I need to go back and I need to check it, and I did, and there were lots of tests and challenges, but there were also lots of signs, and things didn't appear in the way that I would have liked them to, or that would have been easy to see. The signs were there. For example, the house didn't appear, or the house where I would thought, this was going to happen, wasn't appearing. So, there were lots of tests. I had to be adaptable with my vision. Be sincere and keep putting that attention and energy into it every day. And this was for a period of time, for months, it could have been 8 months, or while I was seeing if it was going to, sprout, the seed was going to grow. And then the way that we've done things, etc. It was like, that everything has always been on a free contribution. People have been free to contribute how they like, whether they leave some money financially, or with their hands, or whatever they feel inspired, and where they feel valued. I think that was the thing. Is the thing that it's really about, that people can contribute how they feel valued. And so some of these things, and it turned into a real, exploration for their vision, for their dream, and from as they said, like from a brainstorming into a heartstorming, connecting with this, and so it was beautiful. And they were like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that you've just arrived here, walking, and like you are such a gift." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how much of a gift it is to arrive here into this paradise." I mean, it really is. It's part of the world. just such a heart connection immediately. And um, yeah, you know, obviously I felt so blessed and gifted. You know, so there was this warmth and this connection, and you know, it was raining a bit outside, and there was this offer of breakfast and chai and connection more than anything. Um, Confirmation of being in the right place. But also what I was wanting to note was, or just share, was the importance of playing our role in the moment. What's life asking of us in the moment? And I really feel that that's always different sometimes. You know, I know where we live on the Camino, it's, you know, sometimes with pilgrims it's just asking, you know, for some water. Someone's thirsty, they don't need a sermon. Or someone's needing someone to listen, or a hug, or someone is needing some advice, or whatever it may be. But just being able to really feel and play the role of that moment. And so yeah, these were the key things of this day and this meeting, was listening to intuition, to the gut, to that feeling from a place of fullness, not from a place of lack. Because if we're just trying to listen from the mind, you know, or from a place of like, I'm not really sure, then in some ways it's compromised. And I mean, there may be doubts, but I think we know when we're in a state that is like, okay, I'm in my center or relatively centered, or if not, what can I do to help me center, to really connect and just check that this gut feeling is right, or this intuition or insight that I'm having is correct. Yeah, and then to also play our role. So yeah, this it was amazing. This also this not being too limited by the possibility. I mean, I never would have imagined stepping into such an incredible place, being welcomed by such warmth and love. Incredible, really. And in the simplicity, you know. So I think in that is also playing our role, is also knowing our value. Or yeah, it's like, regardless of whatever situation we're in, we always have a value to bring, to share, and that value is not always a material value, like money or other things, or status. So I really feel that mostly our greatest value is our presence. And also that's what I feel that was what was happening in that moment. It was really about presence, and, you know, listening and feeling and sharing some things when relevant, but it wasn't all about that. You know, really presence. And, yeah, and it was something really funny. So, like, I'd had a chapati left over from the night before. Thought I'll save that for tomorrow. You know, then we'll all end up in the mountains, and, you know, so it's good to have a chapati in the bag. And the baba that I'd walked past in the morning, he sort of said, "Take a chapati," you know. So, a couple of chapatis rolled up, and when I put the bag down, that was wherever it was in the house. The dogs went to the bag and they pulled out and eaten the chapati, and these ladies were so sweet. They're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry the dogs have eaten your food," and it's fine, really. I'm like, no, we'll just give you some more. So I think nature was definitely very generous and the dogs are also acting in my favor. But yeah, and one last thing that was really interesting about this was when I went to leave, and I mean, this place is amazing, and I will definitely be back. I would love to take a group there. Absolutely, it would be an amazing place to facilitate and experience something, and lead a retreat there. There's a beautiful yoga shala, an incredible place for fire ceremony down on the river. Yeah, I mean, the whole finishing is charming. So yeah, and it was starting to rain a bit more, and do you want to stay? Like, really, stay until the rain passes, and you're more than welcome. And I mean, of all places to stay, it would be a place that I'd very happy to stay. It's so beautiful. But I also felt like, no, this is great. This is good. And like I've also received a lot from this exchange. It was really, and I think that's a good, healthy sign, is where there's a mutual exchange of energy and benefit in connection. Whatever it is, doesn't need to look like anything, but I felt so elevated that I was just like, okay, it's starting to rain. The day before, and I shared this, like, I was hesitant. It's raining. Should I go? Should I stay? And I was in a different state, and with more doubt. In this moment, I was like, okay, it's starting to rain, but I feel good. No, I'm good to go, and I can walk, and yeah, maybe I'm not gonna come to these houses that are not for another 4 kilometers or something. It's just the path, but I actually feel so good that I want to walk, and thank you so much. So it was also like a really powerful moment for me, and a sign that, wow, I'm in the right state, but also how experience can really elevate us. And yeah, I think that's enough to share in this short period. Wishing you a blessed day, explorations with you.